Hello everyone, hope you are preparing for physical education board exam that is to be held on 17th February. I am here with some of the important questions chapter wise to revise this question very carefully. So let's start. If I talk about chapter number 1, so chapter number 1 is planning in sports. The very important questions are define fixture and explain its types. In the fixture we have knockout and league both. Then what is knockout tournament? Explain with an example. Here you can also check out league tournament. Then what is the importance of planning in sports? Then next question is define intramural and extramural tournament with its advantages and disadvantages. Then explain any two sports specific program. Here in place of 2-3 sports specific program can also be asked. Then explain pre, post and during committees, which are the committees which are responsible for pre, post and during the tournament. So these were from chapter number 1. If I talk about chapter number 2, what are macronutrients and micronutrients? You may also be asked that define all the components of macronutrients. Explain the importance of a balanced diet for athlete. Then discuss the effect of deficiency of vitamins in sports performance. So these are the important questions from chapter number 2. Coming on to chapter number 3, how does yoga help in stress management? Then name any two asanas that help in curing back pain and explain them. In place of back pain, asthma can also be asked, or diabetes or obesity can also be asked. Then what are the importance of yoga in maintaining a healthy lifestyle? So these 3 questions are very important. Coming on to chapter number 4, that is physical education and sports for CWSN. Define adaptive physical education and its importance. Then what are the advantage of inclusive education? Inclusive here is inclusion for children with special needs, and explain any two strategies to make physical education more inclusive. In place of 2 strategies, 3, 4 or 5 can also be asked. Coming on to chapter number 5, that is children and women in sports. Define motor development and its importance. Then what are the impact of exercise on the muscular system of children? Then the most important question is common postural deformities and their corrective measures, in which spinal curvature is there, kyphosis, lordosis, scoliosis, bow legs is there, knock knee is there, flat feet is there, round shoulder is there. So need to study these postural deformities along with its corrective measures. Then discuss the barrier to women participation in sports and what is the female athlete triad. So this female athlete triad is one of the most important question. Coming on to test and measurement in sports, that is chapter number 6. Here you need to study importance of test and measurement in sports, and in which you can also learn about Psych-Helene fitness test. Then we have explained the Harvard step test and its significance. In Harvard step test, you need to learn both the formulas also, that long-term test and short-term test. Then coming on to the describe the Rickley and Jones senior citizen fitness test. This is one of the most important question of this chapter. Coming on to chapter number 7, the physiology and injuries in sports. Explain the effect of exercise on the cardiovascular system. How does physical activity impact the respiratory system? Then discuss the role of oxygen in sports performance. Then what are the types of sports injuries? Explain any two. That soft tissue injury, bone injury and joint injury is there in this. Then explain the types of fracture in detail. Fracture is one of the most important question. Apart from this, what are the physiological factors determining speed, strength, flexibility and endurance can also be learned from this chapter. Then next we have biomechanics and sports, one of the most important chapter where you will find more number of questions. In this chapter you can go for define biomechanics and explain its importance in sports. Then explain Newton's law of motion with example from sports. Newton's law, all the 3 laws with its examples in sports. Then what is projectile motion? Give an example from sports. This is one of the most important question from this chapter. Projectile and how it is used in sports, or how it affects the sports. This question can be asked. Define equilibrium and its types. And at last, what is friction? So do learn these questions very importantly, because this is one of the most important chapter. Where you will see more number of marks and more number of questions from this chapter is there. Then coming on to chapter number 9, that is psychology and sports. So what is motivation? Explain its types, extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Then discuss the role of aggression in sports performance. Here at the time of studying the role of aggression, you also need to study what are the types of aggression. 3 aggression types is there: hostile, instrumental and assertive behavior. Also learn the names, other name for hostile aggression, instrumental aggression, assertive behavior. You need to learn that name also. Then define sports psychology and its importance in sports performance enhancement. Then explain in detail Jung's classification of personality: introvert, extrovert, ambiverts. And at last, the big five theory, personality big five theory is there. OCEAN, openness, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Do learn these two questions very importantly: Young classification and personality types. Then last chapter is training in sports. From this chapter, you can learn what is circuit training, discuss its benefit, describe types and method to improve endurance. In the same way, types and method to improving speed, types and method of improving flexibility, and types and method to improve strength. These four topics are very much important, and four questions are very much important. Then at last, describe the types of cognitive ability. Question may be asked, what is circuit training? Then draw a chart showing 10 exercises in circuit training which you will perform. So this you have to learn very carefully. So these were the 10 chapters and most important questions of this chapter. You may also see that 3 marks, 5 marks or 2 marks question will come from these questions only, and MCQ is based from inside these questions or inside these topics. So do learn it very carefully. Thank you all of you. If you have any doubts, you can always comment. Thank you once again. We'll meet in the next video where I will post out some of the important tips for the exams. Thank you all of you.